This is a disclaimer. This podcast features 4 professional idiots who share their insights and anecdotes. This podcast is intended for entertainment purposes only. This podcast represents the opinions of the guests and should not be taken as medical, legal, or professional advice.
Oh man, I am the pinnacle of health right now.
Why'd you freeze?
I woke up after sleeping 11 hours, got up, showered, and tried to play with my son for like an hour, and then went back and took another 3-hour nap. Oh, I should probably send the link to Bengineer. I don't know if he's ever, I can't remember. I think he's done Riverside recordings. I think he's done a few of them. How you doing, buddy?
Me? I'm fine.
Good, man. Oh my god, it's updating. Son of a mother.
What's updating?
Discord. I haven't opened it in quite some time. I saw somebody post on our, I don't remember his Facebook page or Reddit page where we had posted one of the links to the episodes, but it was just a random guy. I mean, it was just a dude. And he was like, excellent podcast, fun to listen to. And I was like, oh, that's a real person.
That's not one of our friends. That's just some rando.
No, that's just a person. That's just a fan. We have a fan.
What's up?
Yo.
Hello.
How you doing, buddy?
Not too
Dude,
bad. Now
your
that the
beard
moving's
is
over.
so gnarly.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
Oh my god. You gonna go like cut down some trees and build a log cabin there, buddy?
Cut down trees. I eat my lunch. I like to pick wildflowers.
You
I
live
put
in
on
North
women's clothing.
Hold on a second.
Have you never heard I'm a lumberjack?
Oh, I haven't. No.
It's a Monty.
I have. Oh my god, wait. Hold on. You unlocked something in my brain.
Monty
I've
Python.
Not thought of that in like
I am a lumberjack,
10
and
years.
that's okay.
And that's okay.
Drink
Yeah,
all
I'm
night,
I sleep
and
all night,
sleep all
and
night,
I work
and
all
drink
day.
all day. Yeah.
Oh my god, that's awesome. I forgot that existed. Yeah, I'm just surprised you're not wearing flannel or women's clothes, I guess. Dude, I'm glad to have you back. We haven't had you on yet for a while.
I was gonna say, like, I have, life updates and shit.
Yeah, it's good. We got stuff to talk about.
It means I haven't been on since at least. Well, we haven't. When did we finish recording season 2? Was that?
That was like May, I want to say.
Okay. Yes,
Might
that was
even be a
before I
little later.
even knew about this job. So.
Right. I don't think, I think we literally wrapped up post the final season, and then you got hired. So,
Yep.
How you guys feeling?
Got a cold, which kind of
Yeah.
sucks.
Me too. I'm worried I have COVID because I feel like trash. I woke up this morning, I was just telling Pat, I slept 11 hours, which I normally don't do. I put myself to bed early on a Saturday night, which is not like me.
No.
And then I woke up at 11 o'clock because it was Nicole's day to get up with the little one. I got up, showered, drank some water, and went back for another 3-hour nap. So I'm ready to rock and roll. Let's go.
Cool. I'm
That's
gonna
good.
probably have to use my hardware mute to like
Cough.
mute my microphone if I have to blow my nose because.
I actually don't have sinus symptoms. I just have a headache and my whole body hurts.
Oh, that sucks. I mean, you could also just have the flu.
Yeah, I mean, it also might be because I'm already feeling better. Might have just been the flu shot, and if I had the flu, body aches and fevers and headaches. You're right, that is flu
Mm-hmm.
with minimal respiratory.
Okay.
Why
Okay,
is rocket
doctor.
scientist explaining this to the doctor? It's just funny because after COVID, I barely think about the flu. Like I know it exists. I know we cared about it, and we still do. But I forgot. I forgot.
Everybody's always like, "Oh, thank God, it's not COVID." To be fair, I am too, because as far as I know, I've never had COVID, and I kind of like to keep it that way because I don't like the things coming out about the long-term symptoms.
Yeah, I agree.
But yeah, people forget. Yeah, you could still just be regular sick.
Normal sick, not scary sick.
Yeah.
Although flu, honestly, still kills a lot of people for the old and the immunocompromised. Anyways.
Oh yeah.
So let's go ahead and get things going. Pat, are you ready to rock and roll?
Whatever.
You okay, man?
Dude, I'm exhausted. I'm so
What's wrong?
tired right now.
How come?
Nothing's wrong. I'm tired. I am 45. That shit just happens.
Oh, good. I'm
Oh.
I'm in my 30s, and I thought it was bad then. Damn.
Oh, okay, good. It gets worse. Noted. Welcome back to Overqualified Idiots. My name is Dan Casey, MD, Primary Care Sports Specialist. I am joined by my brother, Pat Casey, JD.
What's going on?
Oh no, I think there's a delay again. Oh, okay. All right, so there's like a 2 second delay. I'll keep that in mind. Okay, Pat, on 3, 2, 1, we're gonna clap together. Okay, so 3, 2, 1. Oh my god, it's like a full second. Maybe Riverside will fix that. I guess we'll see on the other side of it.
That's real bad.
Yeah. All right, Riverside, get your shit together.
Are you saying I'm delayed? Like,
yeah,
what are you talking about now?
I do. Definitely not you as a person. No, never. You? No, you're as quick as they come, Pat.
Oh, that's what she said.
Oh, Tara.
Please tell me we're recording.
Yeah, we're recording. And as you've heard already, we have for the first time this season, Bengineer, who is officially a rocket scientist.
Employed rocket scientist.
There you go. That's the better. I should have said that.
Congratulations on your epic achievement.
Thank you.
Man. How's it feel being among the masses of the workforce?
I mean, I was among the masses of the workforce, just not in my degree.
Oh, well, yeah, that too. I wanted you to kind of tell us a little bit. Oh, actually, let me do the whole intro. So, for those of you who are tuning in for the first time, this is a podcast where medicine, pharmacy, law, and engineering, or specifically rocket science, come together, share our stories, tell some tales, and hopefully make you laugh. As you've heard, we have some updates. Normally, we start off with small talk, and Bengineer has not been with us. Actually, you're no longer with us. You are in Northern California.
With us. He's still alive, folks. Otherwise, he couldn't talk. Keep going.
You're hearing a ghost.
Disembodied voice of Ben.
Ben, tell me when you found out, because it wasn't long after we stopped posting the last season.
It was late June. Because I had been applying for jobs and such. I think there was one episode where I was talking about that kind of stuff and that process. And then it was mid to late June. I did my first interview. It was 2 weeks, was like first interview, second interview, which was like the technical one, and then just like talking with the CEO. And by July, second week of July was when it was like, okay, that's when you start, is like July 17th. All right, cool.
You're hired. You start tomorrow. Go.
Yeah, and there was a big, because they didn't really have a relocation package. It's a smaller company. I probably won't say who it is.
That's fine. I don't think any of us talk about it.
I work for an aerospace company in Northern California.
There you go. Figure it out, people.
Good luck.
It narrows it down.
I will say it's not SpaceX.
Oh, well, that's okay. I think that's going to pertain to today's episode quite a bit, actually. Tell me about what you do. Tell me what your title is.
So, my Ken title is I'm a satellite babysitter. I'm a satellite nanny.
You're a satellite nanny. I remember you telling me you were a satellite wrangler, which honestly, I just picture you in like overalls and a cowboy hat, and a lasso, throwing it really high into the sky. But a satellite nanny is probably also a fair. Now, we talked about it in an episode not that long ago, where we talked about the equation for figuring out the orbit of a satellite or a rocket ship or what have you. Is that now just what you do all day?
Not really. Okay. I'm actually doing far more programming than like straight math, which I kind of knew. I'm doing some math, but I don't, on a daily basis have a calculator out.
Rocket science math just sounds like magic to me. That was just wizardry right there.
Yeah. I mean, that's welcome to also chemistry. Chemistry is just magic.
You're using math to pinpoint. With GPS and everything, we take for granted that we have like a reference point, but in space you really don't. So ultimately your math is literally guesswork as to where your thing is in orbit. That still blows my mind that that's like a concept that you deal with day in and day out.
And like, yeah, I literally do, because it's the way we know when to talk to a satellite, which is about every 80, 90 minutes. Ground stations I use are both pretty much in the same spot, so it's got to get all the way around. It's got to be updated usually at least once a week in order to... Or because, drag, that kind of stuff, it'll change where it is, and if that timing's off, the satellite's not where you're pointing the dish to talk to it, so...
Oh, so then you got to recalculate. So you actually have like a trial and error way of figuring out, okay, it's not talking to us. Okay, we messed up. We got to. Where is he? Where did she go?
We don't do that. That's what
okay.
the Space Force or that kind of stuff, that they track all those things. We're using, in fact, you can look these things up. They're called two-line elements. It's just a shorthand for where things are. And yeah, we use their math because they're tracking where things are, and then they'll update them from visually seeing these objects a couple times, and they probably just put it into a machine that does the calculations and spits it out. But yeah, so they update it and we use that. So
and you check in every 80-90 minutes, you said?
Yeah, 80-90 minutes over the course of the day. So
that sounds like a really neglectful babysitter, if I do say. If I left my child alone for 90 minutes, I would be very scared of all the chaos.
Yeah, but now imagine you left your child alone, the kitchen's on fire, and you can't do a damn thing about it for 80 minutes.
Oh. Ronan, you okay? That's not supposed to be that way. All right, I'll check back.
And in the meantime, you have to tell you're the babysitter, you have to tell the parents, hey, the kitchen's on fire, we're gonna deal with it as soon as we can.
As soon as we can. Oh, that's great. He's fine. We'll get to it. It's there.
We know they're not dead.
That's good. Okay.
That's the big thing.
Got it. So if there's ever a point in 80-90 minute check-in where you look, do you see like, oh, he's dead, Jim? There's nothing like that, or no circumstances like that?
No. It's because we can see telemetry and that kind of stuff, and if something that bad happened, that would be very bad. We've had like miniature like systems fail, like we've had an SD card fail, which that just happens. These aren't hardened against radiation because that's really expensive. So
got it. Satellite telemetry, man. I remember like with our telefloors and whatnot in the hospital, and like walking by the rows and rows of real-time EKGs. I just imagine that's what it looks like. It's just a dude eating some pudding, looking at like a wall of just EKG strips. It's like satellite 1, satellite Greg, satellite Batman symbol.
I mean, basically, yeah. That's
Anyways, all right. So, Pat, small talk. What's new with you, man?
Well, I got smart and I moved my podcast into Alex's bedroom, where there's a desk and a chair and
no children and
no clickety clacking fucking dogs, and no wives and child who want to try to talk to me or ask me what I want to eat or any bullshit like that.
I'm proud of you,
So that's
man.
good news. Yeah, I used my brain today. And now I'm done. Off.
Hey, it's perfect to turn it off for this podcast. That's ideal. I am sick. I don't know with what. We were just talking about that with the flu versus COVID. But man,
don't die on me, man.
I've slept 14 hours and I still feel weak as crap. I might call in sick tomorrow from work for the first time in like 10 months. But I also am scared of what the consequences of that will be.
Well, your calendar will be fucked.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it'll be screwed up for like until Christmas. Because right now, I see on average 28 to 32 patients a day, which is a lot. Yeah, that face is appropriate. If you try to then fit in 28 to 32 patients in 4 weeks on other days that have 28 to 32 patients, it's damn near impossible.
If you don't have a fever.
I don't, fortunately, but I just feel like garbage. So hopefully I turn a corner here soon.
It's just a man cold, man. It's like, man cold's like just right under Ebola.
Why does it just destroy us? I don't understand. There's like research that talks about that men's immune systems are weaker than women's in relation to
because they're
viruses.
Supporting life.
Yeah.
And we're not. We're only responsible for our bodies.
Specifically cold viruses? That's interesting.
I don't know if it's specifically cold viruses. I'd heard that, and I haven't verified it, so maybe it's bullshit. It's bullshit.
I mean, from personal experience, my girlfriend got COVID, and we found out after, I had said hello, kissed her, that kind of thing. Then she's like, this was back when it just started it feels like I have a cold, do a COVID test, oh, hey, it's COVID.
Yeah.
And one of our friends had that, and she was like, oh, yeah, it just feels like I have a cold. So took a COVID test, and oh, hey, COVID. I never got it.
Oh, okay. That's good. I'm pretty sure I had it at one point in, God, I want to say January or February. I was inpatient medicine, and I thought I had the flu, and then my flu came back negative, and I'm like, oh, I must be fine. And then it was in March that, like, everything, shit hit the fan, quarantine, what have you. And I got my flu vaccine later that year. And I got the COVID vaccine. I got my COVID vaccine, and the first vaccine just absolutely devastated me. I felt like where I got the injection, was hit by a baseball. I felt like my whole body hurt. I felt like I could barely move, that I wanted to just put my head down on a table and go to sleep. And then my mentor was talking to me, and it was like, you know what that means? And I was like, yeah, I had it already. Because my immune system already knew what the hell to do.
Yep. I had the same problem. February of 2020, I got so sick that I didn't leave my bed but to go to the bathroom for 3 days straight. All I did was drink fluids. The only thing I actually consumed was not gummy bears, but basically gummy,
vitamin gummies.
Not vitamin gummies, but Welch's gummies. Just so that I could have some sugar in my, sugar and some calories in my system. But all I did was drink fluids and sleep for 3 days straight, and I was
you're still
heavily
here.
congested. Yeah, and then when I got the shot, both of them effed me up for a whole 24 hours. And I haven't gotten a booster, I'll tell you that much. But
the first one, I remember I felt like crap the whole morning. I ate lunch. I forced myself to eat, and then it was like I was just someone flipped a switch, and I was like, "Oh, I'm better now." Okay, my arm's still kind of sore, but all of that malaise, those systemic symptoms, the fatigue, gone. Yeah. I'd gotten a full 12 hours of sleep. I felt like a king. But those first morning, I never want to experience that again if I can help it. Since I'm feeling sick, we're phoning this episode in. We're doing a simple topic. We're gonna do Ask an Idiot. We're gonna do a Q&A session. So I posted, this is several months ago, but we've got some good turnout of people posting questions that they would love to ask their doctor, their pharmacist, their lawyer, their friendly rocket scientist. Well, the theoretical idea is okay, you've got a doctor in a room. What questions would you ask him, unfiltered, uncensored, to just get their opinion? And that's kind of the idea behind this. We don't have pharmacists today, but we'll save those for another day when we decide to phone it in. Starting off, we'll start easy because this question's pretty applicable to all of our fields. What questions should patients, clients, etc. be asking but maybe aren't for your respective fields? It's probably less relevant for you, Ben. Maybe the questions the general public should be asking instead of whatever clickbait articles come out about SpaceX.
Yeah.
How about you lead off? Because I don't feel like Pat and I probably have plenty to talk about, but I don't know if you have anything to weigh in on that. If not, we'll just skip ahead.
This is a whole lot of, if it sounds too fantastic to be true, check your sources and maybe check if somebody else is writing about this too. Or if it was just a slow news day at okay, I'm not going to throw The Verge under the bus. They're actually pretty good after they just laid off a whole bunch of people. It was a slow day at the Daily Mail.
Oh, okay.
Or something. Yeah.
So just question the sources, whether or not it's sensationalized. That rocket exploded, the big one. God, that was 2 days ago.
It sure was.
The second
hilariously, I think this post was old enough that it happened just after the first launch of Starship happened.
Yeah, because it was almost a year ago exactly.
It was earlier this year.
Oh, was it? Never mind. Well, 10 months. When that exploded, I saw it just made me immediately think of you. The post was the biggest. Yeah, well, okay, so this is what you talked about on the episode. Was the clickbaity sounding title was the biggest, most powerful rocket ever launched, went highest and farther than it ever has, and then was gone. I was like,
honestly, that's not that clickbaity. That's pretty much exactly true. And
I thought of you because I was like, oh, that's a success, even though it looks, on tabloids, it looks like a failure.
I think there's more questions about that I'll get into later. But yes, that's actually, I don't know who wrote that headline, but that's actually pretty solid.
But Ben, what should the public be asking?
There's why do we do this? That kind of stuff. SpaceX does it because and this is also a question that I saw. They're possibly the single biggest outlier in industrialist society of a company. This would be like if Henry Ford had started pumping out cars and nobody could get anywhere near catching him for a decade.
Hmm.
People started making cars after Henry Ford did, and maybe, I guess, I don't know that history well enough. Maybe that did happen, and with his, not production line, the factory floor and that kind of stuff, maybe he was able to get cars out faster, but SpaceX is beyond an outlier of a company in terms of just they're that good. And also, I would never work there because I'm in my 30s and don't have 80-hour weeks I want to pull for a job.
Well, I think then it becomes clear why they're so far ahead.
Yeah.
Pat, people walk into your office all the time and they ask questions, and I'm sure you probably have a script of questions they ask that you're ready to respond to. What are questions that maybe clients should be asking, don't ask, or do ask that are good questions?
I think that the one question you should always ask when you're hiring an attorney is how long they've been practicing and how many cases similar, not the same, but similar to theirs that attorney has handled. Also, it's hard to say because every case is different as an example, but ask all of the questions. But do it in one sitting. Put all your questions pen to paper, and then set an appointment to talk to your attorney about those questions. Don't ask them piecemeal through emails because it'll cost you too much money. So those are kind of not just what to ask, but how to ask it. You need to know how much, and you read the retainer agreement. Don't just sign it.
I legitimately feel like the beginning of that question, you could have finally replaced attorney for doctor. And, my dad's a doctor as well. And he is, and I've quoted this so many times, never be an interesting case. Be a boring patient. Good. So, how long has the doctor been practicing? Have they seen something like this before? If you have a doctor go, that's interesting, that's when you're like, uh-oh.
Alarm bell should be going off. No, it's hard not to...
What do you mean you want to send me to Mayo for research?
Oh, God. Yeah, you never want to hear that. It's hard not to echo exactly what you said. I guess it's hard not to feel like as a young doctor, and given where I practice, a lot of people walk in and go, oh my God, you're so young. How long have you been doing this? And it's not the question, because I think that's a fair question. It's the tone of it. And it's hard not to be like, oh, have you done this injection before? I'm like, I did 12 of these today before seeing you. It's hard not to echo that sentiment. I guess it's more along the lines of tone and how you ask questions is something I'd emphasize. Because at the end of the day, I'm still the person taking care of you. So it's probably good to stay on your doctor's good side. But yeah, I don't really have many questions that I think they should be asking. I see a lot of chronic wear and tear, overuse injuries. So I don't get too many crazy cases in my doorway, but I have on occasion gotten a few. But yeah, you don't want to be the interesting patient, but then you should be asking those exact questions of, have you treated this before? Have you seen this before? All right. Here's one for Ben. I like this question because we're just talking about SpaceX. Elon Musk, yay or nay?
Okay.
I just like the word. That's it. That's just the question.
Just a one-word answer, no explanation.
No. And next question.
He's a very interesting person there's a book out to chill Eric Berger. He's a great space reporter. He wrote a book called Liftoff that's about the founding of SpaceX and that kind of stuff. Super, super interesting book. This is when they were 12 employees, that kind of thing. Elon Musk taught himself rocket science was helping with all the stuff. And then you're like, man, this guy was putting in a lot of hours. And then you have to remember he was also doing and saving Tesla at this point at the same time.
That's right.
I don't know how he did it. So that part, that was a decade ago now at this point. Yeah. That part, very interesting person in that regard. Now, I'm just, no.
Well, because he's a pretty polarizing figure now, right? He's got his...
I am very glad he's not. I always say this, and I need to make sure of this. He is not the head of SpaceX. Oh, no, I guess he's the CEO. He's not the COO of SpaceX. That's Gwen Shotwell, and she is fantastic. But I'm glad that because if anything happens to him for any of his shenanigans, SpaceX is going to be fine. Because especially at this point, I do not necessarily like him. I think he should probably shut up most of the time. Okay, the entire time. But yeah, I can't down on his effect on the aerospace community or on rockets because, like I said, SpaceX is the single biggest outlier ever. You almost can't compare other people to it because it's just
that far ahead. They've
landed and reused boosters over 100 times. I believe the next closest company is at 2.
Fair enough. I guess
they've had a string of 98 or 100 successes of reusing boosters, and before them, nobody even thought about that. I will admit, and this is the second thing that's massive in technology I've been super wrong about. First, the tablet, the iPad. I was like, that's super dumb. It's a bigger phone. Correct. Yes.
People like that, especially old people with bad eyes, Pat.
Wow. Fucking wow.
Sorry, low blow.
I always thought, I'm like, oh man, it's gonna cut into your payload too much. It'll never happen. Landing these upright seems ridiculous. Nope, I was wrong. I was super wrong. It's absolutely the future. It saves so much money.
Benjamin,
very cool.
Headline: wrong on tech every time. No, I'm kidding.
No, not every time. Most times.
Funny.
Random big times.
Pat, I got a good one for you. I like this question a lot.
Sure.
Is conservatorship valid? What are your thoughts on the whole Britney situation? Can you first explain what conservatorship is, if you happen to?
So there's a couple of different what are called like probate matters, meaning they're in the probate court, and that deals oftentimes with like wills, estates, and trusts and things like that, where people are dead. Not while people are living. Guardianships and conservatorships deal with when people are alive and can't either take care of themselves or their finances. So people get guardianships so that they are found a place to live, or someone's, taking care of them on a day in, day out basis. And then conservatorships is financial, meaning someone is running your checking account or your income or your assets, and they're in charge of that. So in the context of Britney Spears, her father had a conservatorship on her for quite some time.
Since 2007, right?
Yep. For, a little better than, what?
15?
No, a little bit around 15 years, I think, from inception to the point at which she was released from it. And how does that happen? Someone just is incapable mentally, and in her case, both mentally and emotionally, to run her own life. So that's what a conservatorship is.
So what are your thoughts on it? Because when I read this, I just Googled it as a quick and dirty definition. It sounds like it's usually used for people who are incapable of managing their own lives, whether it's they're too young or they're sick or they're incapacitated. What about a full-grown adult raised in Hollywood?
Yeah. Well, I mean, this actually deals with individuals who are adults. And it's typically for individuals who are developmentally delayed or have serious and persistent mental health. Typically, you're just managing Social Security disability benefits, not, millions upon millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Conservatorships. Also, when you say sick, someone could be wealthy like Britney Spears and have a horrible accident and need somebody to manage their finances under those circumstances.
Right.
Just to change the facts slightly. Yeah. Britney Spears is definitely an outlier from what the typical purpose of the conservatorship is. It's also utilized for, older folks who are declining. I see it often in Alzheimer's or dementia patients where somebody becomes a conservator. I've litigated those issues before in probate court, both in the conservator guardianship side of things as well as the will and trust sides of it. Usually the person's not really clearly not capable of taking care of their money. while Britney Spears is eccentric and strange and potentially has some mental health issues that may be treated or untreated, I have no idea. She is not someone that you would typically see have a conservatorship. There are plenty of people who have bipolar disorder that are celebrities that burn through their money and nobody bats an eye. In this instance, her dad jumped in right away. And I'm not saying that Britney Spears has bipolar disorder. I have no idea what her mental health diagnoses are. I was using that as an example. Thank you, lawyers who might sue me.
Disclaimer, so that being said, input. Disclaimer accomplished.
Yeah. So it's a really weird case. And for that conservatorship to just abruptly end after having gone on for such a long period of time, also very unusual. Once a conservatorship is in place, typically that person's status, unless it improves, not goes south, which, I mean, I guess whichever tabloid you read or whatever. I don't know Britney Spears. I mean, she's on Instagram and I see her posts go viral all the time through her mainstream media as to some of the strange behaviors that she exhibits.
Wasn't that's not
yeah, I mean, that's not a basis for conservatorship.
Got it.
So it lasted so long because Dad got a high-powered lawyer and Britney said, whatever. And for so long, it didn't fight it. But when she retained private counsel and started fighting it, over the course of about 2.5 years, she finally got the conservatorship rescinded and has full control over her assets and income.
And I mean, yeah, you make a good point. It's like, I don't know if this is true, but one of my favorite actors, Dan, I think you as well, Sir Nicolas Cage, is apparently very well known for being super eccentric, and the reason he's in so many crap movies is because he has to. But I think there's that possibly old wives' tale.
He spends beyond his means. That's why he's in everything.
He spends on really dumb things. But sure. I think I think I've heard that about several, celebrities, and I wouldn't be surprised if that's, when you do something like that and make that kind of money, if there's some propensity for that to just happen where somebody's like, I'll pay for it. I want that.
Well, some of those folks just like their Wagyu beef. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. They live a certain lifestyle that none of us are accustomed to. And that's why they continue to work. Why do you think Robert De Niro is in movies ad nauseum? Meet the Parents. I mean, I could list a whole bunch of terrible films that a serious actor like Robert De Niro was in. And the guy liked to live the quote unquote high life. And I'm not saying he used drugs, but I'm saying,
eccentric.
Pamper yourself. Not even eccentric like Nick Cage. I'm talking like, I'm going to, have a house full of cars and I'm going to eat Wagyu beef and fly myself wherever I want to, whenever I want to. And I just got to work 6 months out of the year and bang out like 3 movies. So
fair.
Ramon and I in college had a running joke that we would walk by, we'd go down like 4th Ave or something and we'd look at a window and be like, Ramon, buy me that. That's just how they are. Like we do it as a joke of like point to something expensive and absolutely unnecessary. Like buy me that. I want that. But that's just how they live their lives. And I think about that a lot. Buy it. And they can, as long as they do what Pat said. I'm going to jump in with one. What are the best is perfect. Best types of workouts to stay healthy without hurting yourself, joints, etc. Says the Sports Doc. I will say this. The minimum recommendations for physical activity is 5 days out of a week of moderate intensity cardiovascular exercise. So that means like 30 minutes of you are exercising, whatever it is, it doesn't matter what. This is just training your heart of exercising where you can kind of carry on a conversation, but you kind of have to take a breath. And that's talking like that 60 to 80 percentile, like heart range of your maximum. There's a new recommendation that says you can do 5 days of 15 minutes of high intensity exercise, which is what I do, which is more of that 80th percentile and above. You can't carry on a conversation because you're exercising so hard. So those are the minimum. What you do as far as the type of exercise really doesn't matter. But if you have arthritis, if you have chronic pain, if you have basically joint problems, it's going to be low impact aerobic exercise. Swimming, biking, elliptical, walking uphill. If stairs hurt your knees, don't do stairs. There's a new recommendation too. I just went to the American College of Lifestyle Medicine, and this was news to me because I'd never heard this, that resistance training is recommended for everyone 2 days a week, meaning strength training and resistance training promotes stronger joints, stronger muscles, prevents falls. And if you compare them face to face, if you compare aerobic exercise to like strength training, people who strength and resistance train live longer. That's just what the research shows. So the answer is both. If people are like, I'm a cardio bunny and I want to be on the treadmill, that's fine. Just hit that recommendation, but you should probably also do some weights twice a week. As far as like how to prevent injury, it's just lift with good form, hire a personal trainer, or go to physical therapy if you have problems. It's hard for me to make general, broad, sweeping statements for the entire populace of what they need to do safely, because you can mess yourself up pretty bad if you do an exercise wrong enough.
If you have back problems, a chiropractor's not the answer. I believe physical therapy is probably the answer.
I will say this, there's some bodies of evidence that talk about chiropractic medicine being beneficial in some cases, like thoracic spine issues and adjustments actually having some benefit. But at the end of the day, it's two competing schools of thought. Chiropractic medicine thinks that the joints are out of place and the muscles get all fucky because they're out of place. So if you put them back in place, the muscles will sort themselves out. Okay, if the muscles are dysfunctional, if some are weak, or if they're imbalanced, they'll pull the joints out of place, work on the muscles, the joints will sort themselves out. I have found in my own personal experience and based off the vast body of evidence that physical therapy produces better results, because we are in a sedentary society. We spend too much time sitting. We spend too much time in front of computers with our backs rounded, heads forward, arms in front on keyboards, phones, etc. So yeah,
headshot posture.
Thank you for demonstrating
headshot posture.
Exactly. So at the end of the day, strength is protection. Strength is safety. So I like that. That was a good question. How many hours do you work? All right. I'll let you guys choose if you want to answer this or not. But Ben, how many hours a week do you work?
I've averaged around like between 40 and 50. It's not crazy, but it's also the kind of thing where like, if I know, I don't have call per se, but if I know satellites don't take breaks, they're, they're going overhead. I still get pings coming up of so-and-so is currently in safe mode. Okay, fine. That, we've been dealing with that all week.
You mean they don't clock out when you clock out?
Yeah, right.
Satellite just freezes in space while Ben's on lunch break.
They're not an optometrist. They don't hand in their MD on Friday and get it back on Monday. Thank you, Dr. Glockenflecken, for that joke.
Thank you, Dr. Glockenflecken. That's great.
But if I know I can do something on a Saturday or a Sunday that'll save me time or what have you, like, I can queue up things to download or what have you, then I'll do it. So it's not necessarily a 9 to 5, especially with what I do. One of the satellites I operate, one of the satellites is pretty much perfect. 8 to 5-ish is when the passes are. One of them is like noon or 11 until about 3 a.m. So yeah, the other one I have some help running the passes, but I'm generally managing it and that kind of stuff. It's between 40 and 50 hours.
Gotcha. Well, that seems pretty damn reasonable. I mean, especially for the nature of your work. Pat, right. On average, and it can change or what have you. I'm going to speak to mine a little bit, but what on average do you work?
Boy, there's no average week. Sometimes it's 80 or 90 hours in a week, and then some weeks it's roughly 35 or 40. It just depends. Depends on if I have after normal business hours work that needs to be completed, like preparing for a trial or having meetings that have to be conducted in the evening. Because I could have, 2 14-hour days on a Monday and a Tuesday, and then 6-hour days the rest of the week. But those 14-hour days kick your butt. So, especially when you're 45.
You are getting up there.
Yeah.
Basically the same for me. I would say that on average, I probably work 60 hours a week. I work 4 days a week. I'm there from 8 till 5. I'm typically working into my lunch break, and maybe even my patients are scheduled till 4, but I'm very frequently seeing patients until 5. And then I bring home on average anywhere between 1 to 2 hours of work. So the football season months, it's definitely closer to 70, where I'm bringing home 3 hours of work. And then I'm covering football on the weekends and doing sports physicals leading into the season. But then like February to April, I'm just chilling. I'm probably working 40 to 50, like Ben said. So that's probably it fluctuates, and it just depends from the patients that come in to the sheer volume of what I'm seeing that day. But yeah, I'm probably closer around 60, I think. We answered this one in one of our episodes. What does a day in the life look like? I'll skip that one just because we have an entire episode to that.
I was going to say, I can do an update.
Yeah,
I can do an update.
Let's hear from you, Ben, because for you, I'm curious what that looks like.
Yeah, because a lot of people probably don't even think about it. So, and I had to, what's normal phraseology for me? Yes, the two professions that love Latin. I'm sure I have to explain this to you guys. So I'd be like, I can totally be around for a game at, 5:30. I just have a pass to take at 5. And my friend's like, what does that even mean?
The pass to take.
Yeah, so basically it's, the satellites orbiting the Earth. These could be geostationary satellites where they just sit over one spot on the Earth and they rotate or they go around at the same rate as the Earth spins, 24 hours. That's where your big communication satellite sits and that kind of stuff. Those you could contact all the time from wherever they're sitting over.
Because you know where they are.
Well, yeah, and they're always over the same spot. That's geostationary.
Let me rephrase. Stationary. You know where they should be.
Fair.
Right.
But for me, mine are not in that orbit. They're in lower Earth orbit. Like I was saying before, about every 80 to 90 minutes, they go over my ground stations, and they have to also be high enough on the horizon for the ground station to get good contact.
Okay.
So it's basically making plans based on either what the client wants or what needs to be done for the satellite. And then writing the plans down, which is kind of basically some simple scripting programming, and then sending them up or getting stuff down every 80 or 90 minutes as needed. So, or solving problems, figuring out, all right, why did the spacecraft do this? The power looks weird. What's going on? So there's a problem solving in there that I do really like. But yeah, generally it's just making a plan and pulling it off every 80 minutes.
So you do like check-in work for a large part, but it's kind of a constant moving target.
And yeah, and that's what it's trying to get towards is more like, and that's what we're working towards right now is automation where, it does it itself, they want to the client wants to upload, new tasking for the satellite to do to do its purpose up there. They can just submit it. And then when the satellite comes over, it'll automatically upload and automatically deploy. Cool. It's running it now. Done. So I don't have to touch that at all.
So to beat a dead horse, is AI going to play a significant role in your job soon with automation? And okay,
no, programming will.
Okay,
but maybe eventually, but no, not yet. I'm sure you could train if you had the money and the resources. You could train an AI to do stuff.
Sure,
but I feel like that's probably more mission designy stuff where you're trying to figure out where you want to put your satellite. In fact, that may be a very good use for it. Because that's just a bunch of crunching numbers. But no, I think I'm good.
Sorry, I'm going through the questions to why put 30 small pills that would fit in an 8-dram container into a 30-dram container? I wish Ramon was here. God damn it. That was a good one. I'm looking through the questions. Here we go. SpaceX gets a lot of headlines, Ben. What other rocket companies should people look out for or be aware of?
That's a really good question.
Granted, it's a very distant second and third, but who's in second and third?
Okay, so the other one that people maybe have heard of, they've definitely seen stuff that they have done, is United Launch Alliance. They were the old, long story short, back in the 90s, Boeing and Lockheed Martin were competitors, and the Air Force was like, we don't want you to put each other out of business. Make a conglomerate that works together. Yes, they literally forced them to make a
monopoly.
Working, yes, and
to
so they made
with the Titan that is SpaceX. Almost said Tesla.
No, SpaceX was nowhere near existing yet. This was like 90s.
Oh.
And so ULA was formed. This is like back in the shuttle days.
Oh, okay, got it.
But ULA has launched every Mars rover, they were the go-to for like the big satellites back in the day, that kind of stuff. So ULA, the other big ones, people have probably heard of Blue Origin by this point. That's Jeff Bezos's launch company.
Right.
Yeah, that's still they've got a lot of people working for them. Show me. They really like to be private about stuff. So yeah, that's to see. One of my favorites is Rocket Lab. They are
I've heard
smaller. Well, they're getting bigger. They're out of New Zealand. And they launch from New Zealand and from Virginia. So they're pretty cool. Let's see. Relativity Space is 3D printing, like, they may have changed their plans a little bit. They're 3D printing big parts of rockets. Like, big, room-sized metal 3D printers.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, it really is. It's one of those, are you a 3D printer company who happens to make rockets, or are you a rocket company that happens to have big, custom-made 3D printers?
¿Por qué no los dos?
Yeah. I mean, those are the big ones. There's smaller ones, like Astra's made a lot of headlines in the space world because they've been super unfortunate and had really weird things happen, and like they went public, and now the two owners are like, we're going to try to pull us private again because we don't want our stock to get delisted. Oh, and then the last big one is Firefly. Firefly is probably, if they're on the bigger side, they're probably right under Rocket Lab. They've launched twice now, and they just did a super cool thing that I don't think I've heard anybody else do. It was a readiness test by the military where they're like, okay, here's the deal. We're going to give you a 90-day window where you need to be able to, within I'm going to get these numbers wrong, a 24 or 48-hour span, be able to integrate our hardware and launch a rocket within a 24-hour period. We'll just tell you when it'll happen.
That seems wild.
They did it, which is crazy. Especially for a company who had gotten a rocket most of the way to orbit for the first time, and that was it.
And then they just did it in 24 hours.
Yeah, then they just did it completely successfully. Yeah, so they're pretty cool too. I really did want to work for them, but that maybe eventually I will. But they're getting bigger. They're working with Lockheed or Northrop Grumman now too. So
gotcha.
Yeah, so those are the big ones. I probably missed some, but there's also a ridiculous number of small companies that are not of note.
For the lawyer, having done criminal defense, have you ever defended a client you knew or had a strong feeling? Think the film Devil's Advocate with Keanu Reeves. I think they meant to say if you have a strong feeling was guilty or actually committed their crime. How'd you deal with it emotionally, mentally? Has that come up?
Yeah, I mean, I typically don't, like I've said before on other podcasts, I don't typically represent, innocent people. People make mistakes. They do things when they're under the influence of intoxicants, and usually the evidence shows that they've done something wrong. And so, yeah, I represent people when they make those mistakes, and yeah, you try to get the best result possible given all the facts and circumstances. That's just what you do. So,
well, you didn't answer how you deal with it. Not to put you on the spot. I was just wondering how
I get to choose my clients. So if there's this goes to another future potential episode. I don't want to step on its toes, but there's things I just don't do. And so I don't have to have that kind of ick factor with regard to the people that I represent. I can choose who I represent, and that helps deal with what the person was trying to get at, which is kind of the moral feeling there, that how can you morally represent someone who's guilty of a crime? Well, I go in and make the best arguments on behalf of my client, and I go home.
Yeah,
It's my job. It's my job. I'm ethically obligated to do that. So yeah, it's just what I do.
I've got a friend who used to work for the city in criminal defense. Like if somebody's like, a lawyer, if you cannot afford a lawyer, one will be provided for you.
Sure.
That was my friend. He had stories that were wild. And he's like, yeah, I obviously knew this person was an absolute scumbag. And if they treated me respectfully, I very much, tried to get them the best thing I could, given the circumstances of I knew for a fact they did it.
Yeah.
But, if they treated me like crap, sorry, like I'll try my best, but my best just may not be very good this time. So
I
it's
think
also
it comes down to the evidence, really.
I think people don't understand how challenging, it is to do that job. And I think that's part of what the person is getting at, is that it is very challenging to represent people, especially if they've done very bad things and are not willing to take responsibility. So, and I've represented people like that too. And it's very tough. Yeah, I get high. I don't know. I go drink too much, whatever. I mean, that happens. That happens. That has happened a number of occasions, self-medication. But yeah, I like to go to the gym, these days. So that's the type of thing. That's how you cope. Try to do it productively. I play video games. I mean, just hang out with my family, do things with my kids. That's how I deal with it.
Yeah.
Escapism at its finest.
Yeah, exactly.
So one of these questions I'm picking because it's for doctors, but it's kind of related to what Pat's saying. How have you dealt with situations speaking to a patient whose condition was essentially a death sentence, or you discovered was a death sentence? If so, how did you handle it? So
Tyler's not here.
Yeah, well, Tyler was here last week, and so he pretty much told the story specifically to this.
Ooh.
The frustrating thing for me in my nature of work, because I take care of an older crowd, I take care of a geriatric population, is sometimes back pain isn't just back pain. Sometimes it's something far more insidious, whether metastatic cancer, pancreatic cancer. The single most common presentation of it is essentially back pain, if not just GI issues. So sometimes back pain isn't just back pain. I think in the past 2 months, I have diagnosed 3, maybe 4 metastatic cancers to the spine. A patient comes in, and I swear, we always talk about these things called red flag symptoms or red flag signs, where if patients have fevers, chills, weight loss that's unintentional, systemic symptoms, that these are things that are supposed to clue you in that they're scary things. And I feel like I just don't see those as often. I mean, we read about them in textbooks, but if you're seeing those, the patient's at a pretty far gone point. So when I diagnose these, it's usually a devastating thing. Like, okay, we're getting an MRI. I'm worried about a pinched nerve. And then the MRI comes back and they have cancer all the way through their entire lumbar spine. And all of a sudden we went from talking about physical therapy and injections to going to oncologist, ortho specialist to talk about what their odds and chances are. You just, the way I handle it is simple. I drop everything else. I get them into the specialist the next day. I pull every string I can, and I send every message and phone call to expedite their care, because time is tissue. Time is lifespan at that point. How I cope with it, I go to the next patient. Somebody else needs me that day. So I go to the next room, and then I come home, and I kiss my wife and hug my child, and I go to bed.
God.
And
this is why I deal with satellites, 'cause I can't deal with that shit.
I go to the gym, I play video games, and more recently I read, but that's about it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's actually...
I can't do that.
Let me see. I'm trying to get to, there were a lot of posts, so I'm trying to get to all of them to get 1 or 2 questions from them, because I realize we're actually close to time.
You can always do
weird. It's almost like we could do a part 2.
We could do a part 2. This is good stuff. I love this because it's kind of touching on so many things we've talked about, but then we get to explore a little more. Let me lead off with 1 question each for the both of you, or 1 more for each of us if they're quick ones.
Okay.
So, nope. And so I asked you those questions already, Ben. There are some repeats. Patrick, this one's for you. What trips people up the most when dealing with the legal system?
Thinking they can handle it themselves.
Fair enough.
That's
such
no question that people have this idea that things are going to be like they are on TV. They think they can handle it until they're in front of a judge with an opposing counsel against them, and they just get absolutely hammered because they don't know how to ask a question. So, yeah, don't believe that I can just handle this matter by myself. I don't need to consult an attorney. They're not going to do anything more than I can do for myself. That's nonsense, absolute nonsense.
Yeah.
So that's the thing that people, that's the best answer I can come up with.
Ben, the STEM fields in general and science, rocket science in particular, seems very male dominated. Do you spend a lot of time working with female colleagues in your field? Do you spend just a vast majority working with men? How has that number changed over the several years that you've been doing what you're doing?
I mean, that number, like, it's women, people of color, non-white, non-straight white males have dominated that field for a while. I mean, you look back at, NASA in the, 50s and 60s and 70s, and, it's a bunch of white guys, in their white shirts and that kind of stuff. And then you have movies like Hidden Figures, where, there is some involvement, and that number's been slowly going up over the years. And in my degree program, it was still very male dominated. And my company is also, there's not no females, but it's, probably only about 10-20%. So, that number's been going up, but it's representation, I think, is a very big deal in this. People going, oh, I can't do that. There's nobody there who looks like me. That's huge. So, there's a lot of science educators out there right now who are women who are fantastic. And it's helping people go, one of them that I can think of is, Emily Calandrelli. She went to MIT. She's awesome, and she's doing great work representing, that women can be rocket scientists and that kind of stuff. So it's just, and also it's, getting into the academics, there's a whole lot of that of, if you're the only woman in a room with a bunch of guys, sometimes it's just like, nope, I'm just going to go ahead and change my degree. This sounds awful.
So glad to hear it's changing for the better.
It is.
So I like this question. I asked it for the doctor, but I kind of want to ask it to you guys as a wrap up. Doctor, if you could choose a superpower to better help your patients, what superpower would you pick? I think my knee-jerk reaction is teleportation, because I always feel like I need to be in multiple places at once, but I'm really just tired of driving an hour to work every day. But it's either that or just like, no, that's got to be it. Teleportation. I would, if I could just, like that movie. Oh, what's that movie with Hayden Christensen? Jumper, where he can just jump to any place he can picture in his head. It's such an underrated film. I know it got poo-pooed and no one watched it, but goddamn it, I love that film. Pat, I think I know what you're going to answer, but what superpower would you pick to help you do your day in and day out job? Go ahead.
I'm struggling here because you said Hayden Christensen, and I immediately cringed and thought of Star Wars. So, and then you said another movie that you purposefully watched his bad acting in, and it's really just questioning your life choices at the moment.
It's such a good premise. The idea behind the film is so good, I can overlook it. It's a film that deserved a sequel and never got it.
The superpower for an attorney would easily be some type of, mind control or something
mind
of
reading.
That.
Mind reading.
Wow. Honestly, I don't need help with that one, but mind control would probably be the superpower.
Pat already has that superpower.
I can read and listen to what people say and the words that they choose and know exactly, go and have a pretty solid idea of what they're thinking.
Fair enough. That's a superpower in and of itself. Ben, what superpower would you pick?
Being able to just fly into space and see what the hell's going wrong.
So flight. I like that all of us have different ones. I don't know if teleportation is the best one for me, but that's what popped in my head first. We have many, many more questions, but because we're getting late into the episode and I think it's time to probably wrap it up, we can always do a part 2 if we're running low on ideas for episodes.
Well, we need a pharmacist.
Yeah, we need a pharmacist to weigh in because there are tons of questions that are not getting touched on. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you, Bengineer. for taking time away. I know you just moved. I know you're starting a new job. I appreciate you being here. Pat, thanks for always doing this with me.
I've been in this job for like 3 months, Dan.
Well, I know, but you just got done moving. That's a huge deal.
That's the big deal. Moving out of state
Real
sucks.
life stuff is hard.
Moving just sucks. It could be like 30 miles and it's terrible.
Oh, it's funny too, because like I feel like when we moved out of the dorms, you barely have a square cubicle of stuff, but you feel like you have an infinite amount of crap. I can't imagine what moving. Yeah, all the boxes, so many boxes.
Yeah.
Board games and comics are a pain in the ass to move.
Yeah, I'm just downsizing my board game collection once we actually get to moving, because those are just boxes that take up space.
I'm not looking forward to boxing up all of my pops and making sure that they're safe if I ever move. So,
well, thank you guys for being here. Thank you, audience, for tuning in, for listening along. Hope you enjoyed something. Hope you learned something, and hope you enjoyed listening. You can follow us on social media, Facebook, Reddit. You can post questions to the forum if you have them. If you want to hear more, we will likely.
That's where we got these from.
Exactly. We will be doing a part 2 to this at some point, where we'll include a pharmacist. But in the meantime, like, follow, subscribe, download the episodes to show your support on all major podcast platforms, and we will see you next time. Take care.
Bye now.